Something substantial to say, but in a cold apartment right next to my room, you'll just sit there quiet after I have warned you with the broom. And there's a girl outside who's climbing to the roof. All the days are numbered, she calls out. I believe it's true, 'cause there's a certain desperation on this floor. And in cursed solitude you try and imagine there's more, 'cause that's the quintessential goal for everyone. In the sorry town that's drowning in its own aspirations. Give me truth, give me real, give me something I can feel. And for the first time I'll be seeing something to believe in. Give me rockets and high, shoot me soaring through the sky. And then unconscious I'll be dreaming about something I'll believe in. Tonight, 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 tonight. Now on a lonely road, the streetlights burning deep. I'll switch the lights on, turn the engine, drive the vehicle down east. In this cold and empty city where you sleep, I'll return there in the morning if I have to use my feet. And all the tickets that I've garnered in pursuit of a life and of a future that had much to do with you. Well, I'm not pleased, no, but again I'm not ashamed. All the smiling and the finger stamp that stole away the pain. Give me truth, give me real, give me something I can feel. And for the first time I'll be seeing something to believe in. Give me rockets, sing high, shoot me soaring through the sky. And then unconscious I'll be dreaming about something I'll believe in tonight. Tonight, 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 tonight. Now I could go, but I could stay and be deaf to what they say. And it'd be personally fulfilling someday soon, if heaven's willing. All those lines drawn in the sand fall away right through your hands. Like the boxes I get caged in, someday somebody will break them. And give me truth, give me real, give me something I can feel. And for the first time I'll be seeing something to believe in. Give me rockets and high, shoot me soaring through the sky. And then unconscious I'll be dreaming about something I'll believe in tonight. Tonight, 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 tonight. Rockets was the first song I wrote that I liked. And I wrote it about 2 years ago. It was about searching for something real or on opportunities and maybe a little bit of hope, both in
my own private life and in the music scene. I wrote my first song when I was 5. I wrote a lot between the ages of 5 and 8. My mom kept them in a box. But I wanted to be a writer in junior high and a lot of freshman and sophomore year of high school. And I got into poetry. And then, went to summer camp and found out that guitarists are cool again. And so I think it just naturally kind of combined the two, where I could play guitar and it could be fun for me because I could use my writing. So I think I started officially writing songs again when I was 16. I wanted to write a song that was equal parts pop and just earnesty, just a very honest song about the different aspects of love, but why it's still so worthwhile and so enjoyable. And I thought Chocolate was a kind of an obvious go-to for that. So yeah.
Nice.
You're like chocolate, 'cause you melt in my mouth. Like going to the movies and we're not supposed to go out. You're like going for tea, opting for coffee and drinking two big cups. You're like staying up late when there's work in the morning, like making up songs when the day gets too boring. You're like sleeping until it's too late for breakfast and eating ice cream cones instead. But they made you feel so guilty, and they all have said how this is bad, but now even they can't deny it. You're the best chocolate I've ever had. Now you're like chocolate, 'cause you're so bittersweet. Yes, sometimes you're gentle, but sometimes you're mean to me. And I know you don't mean it, and they can all disagree, but it's nobody's business who's the sweetest for me. And you're like sitting around the fire in a rain, strumming guitars while everyone sings and sings, and you keep my heart burning all through the night, keeping my hands, keep my hands and feet so warm. Now they made us feel so guilty, they made us feel like this is bad, but now even they can't deny it. You're the best chocolate I've ever best, chocolate I've ever best, chocolate I've ever had.
When I first started, I had a set plan. It's like, I'm going to play as many free shows as possible in as many places as possible on as many days as I can fit in my calendar. And it was really just because I think it's important to start from the ground up and to build a fan base, built on people's actual respect and enjoyment of your music. And then, as it kind of snowballs and people are willing to pay a little bit more, well, then you're like, oh, I guess I can move up to this venue, and you get people to fill those out, and kind of snowballs again. And then all of a sudden you're playing clubs, and it's been really cool though, because the scene here is super supportive. They love their music for what music we have. And, the people that do play here and perform here are just, wicked talented, all of them. And it's kind of, I don't know, I think we have a determination that is not to be matched, because what we lack in maybe venues, we make up for in just sheer resilience. Like, we don't give up, and it's really cool to see. And we're also just super supportive of each other. Yeah, so I couldn't ask for a better scene. Well, I love audience participation, first of all. I used to have really bad stage presence, and I thought up. Well, I mean, I didn't invent it, but I figured I would start using it in my sets to make me feel more at ease and more like, oh, I'm surrounded by friends, instead of, people that are staring at me with their beady eyes and, thinking mean things in their head. I am an avid reader, live in libraries most of the time. And it's kind of made its way into my music, which is strange because you wouldn't think that the two would be very involved. But for me, songwriting is how I'm musical, and songwriting is birthed from my love for books. And so when I wrote that song, I think I was just kind of paying homage to it. And plus, I don't know, I have a soft spot for songs where you clap.
I'm in the library, I've got visions and visions of you. In the library, fighting visions that I didn't choose. But right about now, I wish you were gone, and I earnestly hope your predictions are wrong, 'cause I've gone and I've given all I've got to lose. Now it's your turn to choose. La-di-da-da-da, la-di-da-da-da. Such a childish thing to do. Oh, but right about now, I really don't care. No, right about now, I just wish you weren't here. I could sail away happy on some other page. Oh, I hope it's not too late. La-di-da-da-da, la-da-da-da, la-da-da-da. Oh, there's pictures of Hemingway before he died, tracing some trails where the Indians cried, and I'll look like I'm having the time of my life, but you're always right.
How many different instruments do you play?
I usually say 14, but I think it's more than that, actually. I was compiling the list of it the other day, and then I've also got like tambourine, harmonica, and stuff like that. But I think the whole reason I can play all these instruments is because I started with guitar and violin, recorder, and piano. And once you have strings, keys, I play some drums, stuff like that, it's really easy to branch off into different related musical instruments. And for me, I just like to be constantly learning things, even if I'm not in school. And I think it really opens my horizons as far as songwriting goes, and my musicality. It's really good for that. It makes me more creative. My fiance's brother's girlfriend, Chelsea, said that I should write a song about cat people. And I was like, okay. And I just got my ukulele, and so I was trying to write more songs anyways. And it actually ended up just kind of flowing together really well. And that's one of my favorite songs, personally. I think it's fun. And who writes a song about cat people? You know, it kind of takes me out of the box as far as songwriting goes, and I like to mix it up anyways, and so I always kind of throw that one in there as my curveball.
There's a place that I know where I sometimes like to go to see if you're there, 'cause you were wise days ago. Now I find I have to know if you meant you care to just hello. 'Cause cat people, we're hopeless, get ourselves wet in oceans that side of home, running high, and I can't help it. I wrote this just going through the motions, bad habits don't die. I felt we felt the same. Good translation, I've gotten in the way. 'Cause I said we ça va et bonjour, s'il vous plaît, oh please be one and more. But you don't know. cat people, we're hopeless. Getting myself wet in oceans, the tide of home running high, and we can't help it. I wrote this just going through the motions, bad habits don't die. I thought you'd look the other way. Instead, you look straight in my face. And oh God, I'm sorry, I didn't have a thing to say.
You grew up in a very large family,
Yeah.
the oldest of 7.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that had some kind of influence on your both your personality and your outlook that carries over into your music.
Yeah. Well, it definitely made us all social. We're very big people. It's kind of hard not to be when you're just constantly surrounded by, noise in a good way, and lots of energy and lots of bouncing around. It definitely has made being on stage a lot easier for me because I'm so used to being around people and singing and performing around people. So in that aspect, it was really good for me. Yeah. You Are My Tree was meant to be a love song that kind of morphed itself halfway through writing into a song about when I lived in Paradise, California in junior high, and I was homeschooled there with my family. We had this really cool house with a gigantic forest in the backyard, and I would go out there and I would do my homework in this grove of trees, and I'd like to write my books there, and I'd named all my trees after Chronicles of Narnia characters because that's what all the cool kids do. It's just, I like to fondly remember the innocence of childhood, and I think it's important not to forget about it, and it meant a lot to me, and it still means a lot to me, and so, I think it came out naturally.
You are my tree, and you stand so strong. You stand so strong. You stir the clouds when the sky's all wrong. When the sky's all wrong. So cover your head when the rainfall cuts, when the sky explodes and the mountains run. 'Cause you are my tree and you stand so tall. Who's gonna hold you when the winds are cold? Well, I can wrap my arms around you, though they're much you belong with me. You belong with me. You belong with me. Now you are the bird when my morning wakes, and when the morning breaks. Hey, hey, and darling, you are the sun and my evening shade. You're my evening shade. Hey, hey. So stretch out your arms and hold me in close. 'Cause darling, kiss on the head says you love me the most. Oh, you are my tree and you stand so tall. Who's gonna hold you when the winter calls? Well, let me wrap my arms around you, though they're much too small. You are my tree, and you belong with me. You belong with me. You belong with me. 'Cause you are my heart and I can feel you there, same as the wind that blows through my hair. And you are the tree that I climb to see everything suddenly clear to me. Oh, you are my heart and I can feel you there, same as the wind that blows through my hair. And you are the tree that I climb to see everything, 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 everything. 'Cause you are my tree and you stand so tall. Who's gonna hold you when the winter calls? Well, let me wrap my arms around you, though they're much too small. You are my tree, and you belong with me. You belong with me. You belong with me. You belong.
Way back in the day, before I wanted to be the writer, my dad is actually an artist, and he paints with oil paints, and he does graphic design, stuff like that. And I homeschooled, and so we were always doing art. It was just very incorporated in our lives, and we were really encouraged in it. And I don't know, I like to paint when I can't think of a song to write, because I like to have some sort of an outlet. And you can't always write a song, because you can't force those things. Like they come when they're supposed to come, and they come naturally when you're inspired. So when I can't write a song to solve my not songwriting blues, I paint a lot. Yeah. Key to Your Hero is about when I worked at a cafe a couple years ago, and one of my coworkers and I were being considered for, getting a promotion, getting a different spot on the chain. And she thought it would behoove her to bring cookies in to the management and get on their good side that way. And, you know, me not being such a great baker at the time, I was very irritated by this. And so I wrote a song about it.
Katie, you're a hero to the girls in the store. Never ask for nothing, but they keep giving more. I wish I could bake a pastry so all of them would keep coming round. But Katie, there's something, 'cause they keep coming back. Why don't you tell me about your secret that I obviously lack? I am a really fast learner, and I promise you I won't make a sound. Oh, Katie, is it all a trick in my head, just a trick in my head? 'Cause I feel like you keep getting ahead of me. Katie, hey, hey. Katie, you're a hero to the girls in the store. Keep them filing through the big open door. And I don't know what they're thinking, but I'm sure that deep inside there you do. Katie, what can I do that'll make you sing? Throw away your medals, tell me everything. I'm not wealthy, but I can do something for you. Oh, Katie, is it all a trick in my head, just a trick in my head? 'Cause I feel like you keep getting ahead of me. Katie, hey, and I'll never ask for nothing, and I'll give it my all. You won't notice that I'm there, 'cause I'm obviously small. I can hide inside a box, you never vacant to call. Oh, Katie, you're a hero. Katie, you're a hero. Katie, you're a hero. Katie, you're a hero. Katie, you're a hero to me. So Katie, you're a hero to the girls in the store. Keep them filing through the big open door. I wish I could bake pastry so all of them would keep coming round.
I think it's really, really important. And some people will disagree with me, and they'll say it's not as important as you make it out to be. But I have people that listen to my music in Norway. So, you know, I think it's such an amazing phenomenon. The fact that I'm able to talk to these people and share my music with people all over the world is so great for me, because it almost bypasses, I'm not going to say it bypasses completely, but it makes being on a label not as important. Like, I don't need to hire someone to promote for me, because I have all the tools at my fingertips. And, you know, I recommend it to everybody, because honestly, there's so much you can learn, and I don't know. You respect the system, and you respect the music industry so much more when you're the one doing all the work and you know how it works backstage, and not just as the performer, and not just as the songwriter, but as the person who's doing all the booking, who's doing all the managing. Like, it's important to know about that aspect of music as well, and it's been really super helpful for me. So, I owe my MySpace fans a lot these days. I eat frozen peas when I'm watching movies at home. I like frozen peas and frozen raspberries. And this is the best quirk ever, and I challenge anyone to beat this quirk. I faint when I'm startled. I just pass out on the ground, just out on cold. And if I don't pass out, I will jump like 3 feet over. And I've done it. I went and watched 1408. And the entire time I was squeezing my brother's arm. And he was like, I can't feel my arm anymore. You're cutting off the blood circulation. I was like, oh, sorry. And I kind of went back over and I had the popcorn in my lap. And this one scary scene came up where it jumps at the screen at you. And I just let out this awful blood-curdling scream. And I knocked the popcorn like 3 aisles up in front of us at the couple ahead of us. It was ridiculous. Yeah, but I have fainted. I was working as a camp counselor 3 years ago, and he came around the corner. My friend came around the corner of a pantry, and I was stalking something on a stepladder, and I was out cold. Like, I remember waking up on the ground, and I didn't know what to do. And I just, the only thing I could think of was to laugh, so I was just like, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, so don't scare me. It's not funny.
All right, so this next song is my angry song, because everyone gets angry, and it's kind of nice to sing about it. It's like therapy. Plus, it makes the person you're mad at famous. Yeah, totally recommend it. This song is called Bad Blood. No names were named. Some days I can feel my blood start to boil underneath my skin, and I can sense the trouble rolling like an ocean out with all my breathing. Trouble is I don't know how to stop its breathing. It doubles on itself before I can stop it. Leaves me doubled over when I try to block it. A hefty fist is all it takes to knock me over, and I was born afraid that I could just be stronger. So find me a way and cure my sickness. I'm falling apart, and all my distress, and you're so fine, and I'm so jealous that I can't be just as alive. Well, if you were a doctor, would you take my arm, punch a needle in it, and stop this storm? Take out the bad blood and leave me happy. They all know that you and I both need this badly, 'cause if we're gonna make it in the hottest summers, we can't worry that this one will pull us under, and hopefully by then we'll both exhausted over and trickling like a stream. I'll be the calmest water, so find me a way and cure my There's bad blood in my veins, run blue and stubborn, always on my mind, just like a watchful mother. And I wish that you, 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 I wish that you could find me a way, cure my sickness, I'm falling apart, and all my distress, and you're all fine, and I'm so jealous that I can't be just as I can't be just as I can't be just as alive.
Well, it took us such a long time because we're musicians, and musicians don't have money. No money at all. None of us. And so we kind of just scraped by for 2.5 years, paying for what we could and when we could. I was blessed enough, and am blessed, to have lots of very talented friends with extra time on their hands who were like, oh, sure, I'll take $60 to do your drumming. And we all kind of just took a couple days out of the week every couple of weeks, and we just laid down as many tracks as we possibly could in as little time as possible. And it was really tiring, and it was much more grungy than you'll imagine. Like, recording is I think more energy sucking than performing on stage, like, because you just take after take after take, and singing is surprisingly a very physical thing, and yeah, it just sucks the energy right out of you. But I think it was worth it. We, like, in my opinion, we made a really good record, so I'm really proud of it, and I'm excited that we got to do that, regardless of how tired we were. I was listening to a lot of Patsy Cline and some Loretta Lynn and some Billie Holiday, and then I just watched a movie called La Vie en Rose about Edith Piaf, and got super obsessed over her, and then kind of found myself in a jazz phase, or at least one where I was being influenced more heavily by jazz. And I really wanted to write a song that would really represent that era, but also had like elements of things that I would say. And so it's slightly more modern, but it's in the same style. It's one of my favorite ones to sing, actually, because it's so dramatic, and it's got I don't know, it kind of builds as it goes on. It's fun for me. It's like being in a movie.
Where there's a way, there's a place for heartaches. Where there is sand and they're fixed to be like new. I'll package mine, send at least what's left of it, and for now I suppose I'll just make do. 'Cause I've been a mess since you I've been left, and baby, I can't survive thinking of you. Sleeping in bed, how you tip the hat on top of your head. Who needs a heart? It's only making me blue. Where there's a way, I believe I'll be stronger, I'll be new, I'll be truer to myself. I'll start from the start, and I'll build on the ashes. I'll make home where my home once fell. 'Cause I've been a wreck since I've been left, and baby, I can't survive thinking of you. Sleeping in bed, how you tip the hat on top of your head. Who needs a heart? It's only making me blue. Where maybe in time my poor heart might come back with a beat that beats onward, proud and true. But true to my word, I shall never be cured. If my heart can never, if my heart can never, if my heart can never have you.
I'm really gung-ho about getting my music out there and not wasting the time I've been given. So now that the album's out, it's really crunch time for me. And I want to get signed. And I think that, you know, given the chance, I can be signed. I'm going on tour. You know, I'm playing a lot of bigger shows, and it's daunting, but I'd rather take on the challenge than not, because, you know, it would upset me so much to know that I had a chance and I didn't do it. Like, that would kill me. I would never be able to go through life and be happy knowing that I was so close and I was like, oh, no, I'm tired. So, you know, whatever comes my way, I'm ready to face it and willing and able. You know, just here's hoping. I had a violin teacher in junior high named Mr. Skurzik, and I had him for about 3.5 years. My mom called me up a couple of months ago, and she was like, oh, you know, I heard Mr. Skurzik passed away. And I was like, oh, that's so sad, because, you know, I've really been thinking about him lately, and I was even thinking about writing a song about him, and, you know, and then I felt really moved to do so. I was like, well, you know, it'd be a good time and to commemorate how much he meant to me, you know, musicianship-wise. So I wrote this song, and I played it around a couple shows, and then my friend Sarah, who lived in the same town that he did, came up to visit one weekend, and I played it for her. She was like, "Oh, well, it's a nice song." And I was like, "Oh, you don't like it?" And she's like, "Oh, no, Mr. Skurzik was at church with me last Sunday." So, not dead, to make the story short. But I still play it because I don't know, it meant a lot, The message doesn't change, just the deadness does, I guess. But he meant a lot to me. I had a lot of musical mentors as I was growing up, but I think he really instilled the practice in me. And then he was so good at what he did, and it blew my mind. But he was so good at getting me to pay attention and to do my homework and to really strive for excellence in a way that I hadn't been pushed before. And, it really sent me over the hump of, I'm just kind of interested in it, to it like, this is amazing status. I was like, I can't get enough of music after taking lessons from him. And so, my mom has always been there, and my grandma has always been there. I had lots of musical teachers other than that who inspired me in different ways, but he was like the turning point for me. And so that's why he's historically important.
When I was younger, I'd just read books to myself. Then you said, here's a bow, here's a string, let's entertain ourselves. You had history and knowledge, Lord, you must have had some patience. So, thanks, Mr. Skurzik, for getting me into face. 'Cause this is all that I know how to do, and all I have I wouldn't unless you had opened up a world that I'd never seen, and guided me, opened up a world that I'd never seen, and guided me. Drove up the hillside just to see if you were home, but the door was locked, so I went and knocked at your neighbors who lived next door, and she said, oh, I think he's passed on, that he's reached the pearly gates. Sorry, Mr. Skurzik, it appears I'm much too late. This is all that I know how to do. All I have I wouldn't unless you had opened up a world that I'd never seen, and guided me, opened up a world that I'd never seen, and guided me. I'd like to thank my mother, I'd like to thank my mom, I'd like to thank you, Mr. LaPierre. But if it comes down to one person, then there's just one name that's hurting to be said. So I'll take this time to share. Thanks, Mr. Skurzik. Thanks, Mr. Skurzik, for opening a world that I'd never seen, and guiding me, opening a world that I'd never seen, Thanks. And if I were to sing my heart out for you, I don't know, don't know what notes I'd use. And how would I know if you'd even be in the audience? 'Cause the show's filling up and the seats that are